Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe where we're helping heal one day at a time. We're going to talk about the different kinds of love. And this is kind of where it gets confusing because I've been doing some research. When I grew up, I was taught there's three different types of love. And doing research, sometimes I see four, sometimes I see seven. But I kind of want to go into some points that have come up to try to understand why we get so confused on did our person really love us? Because I had a comment from somebody where they're like, he said I was the love of his life, and I kind of think I was, and I had replied back that part of me, there was a time that I believe mine loved me, and supposedly narcissists aren't able to love, that they lack the empathy to do it. So this is a definition of love, and it is from the Bible. So if you don't want to hear it, you can tune out or skip past it. Not trying to get into religion. It's just a really good definition. And I think a lot of us, when we're in a relationship, let me make sure you guys can see my screen. So there we go. So right here, it's that love is patient and kind. And if you're in a relationship with somebody, you kind of want the patience, the kindness, not where it's boastful, where one of you are better than the other person. It's also not arrogant. Narcissists often are arrogant. The world revolves around them. So it's not supposed to be arrogant. It's not supposed to be rude. A lot of times they'll cut us down, cut us off, not want to hear what we have to say. And this is where it says it does not insist on its own way. And they have to have things their way. Otherwise, they'll throw their little rages or their little temper tantrums or give the silent treatment. It's not irritable or resentful. A lot of times with narcissists, they end up getting pretty resentful over the little things. If we accidentally forgot something, now they hate us. They bring it up, or they're angry at us, and they bring it up over and over again. They don't see, that people are human. They do make mistakes. It's not irritable. They're often irritated by little things that we do. They'll nitpick, tear apart things. And it does not rejoice in wrongdoings. Sometimes narcissists get a kick out of the pain that they cause. So we're supposed to rejoice in the truth. We should be able to, just communicate with each other. Or if an issue comes up, we should be able to be happy we made it past it, that we worked it out, as opposed to holding resentment. Everything should be out in the open. We should believe that, everything is as it is. We should hope all things that, we can overcome whatever obstacles come our way, and it endures all things. That if one partner gets sick, you're going to make it through it. You're going to be there for each other. And this, they say there's also like four different types, but this kind of shows a little bit of the mix and match and where our definition is with our special person. You can have codependent relationships when you have a familiarity with each other. You're just around each other a lot. You're just in each other's lives. And sometimes it mixes with some passion. You guys start to get attracted to each other. So you might fall into like a dating relationship. There's also, the familiar is kind of a mix of an unconditional and a familiar. It's kind of unconditional that, you're kind of rude to your brother, but he's still going to be there. Shouldn't do it, but we kind of take it for granted a little bit. But it's unconditional, where we forgive pretty often. And there's also a friendship type. This is how I said it. I was pretty much focusing on three types, but this is like the fourth type, because we do have friendships. We can develop lifelong friends because they can be unconditional. We got some really good friends out there who love us, are willing to try to understand us, work through any little tips that we might have. So to be in love, it's got to be a mix, that you have a friendship. There's some passion there. You're comfortable around each other. It's like you've known each other for a long time or forever. And it needs to have some unconditional aspect to it in order for it to be true love. And that's pretty much what I kind of believe, because sometimes we do treat people differently. Um, Maybe they're our lifelong friends. We didn't fall in love with them. But it's a great friendship. It's unconditional, but it doesn't mix in with the passion. Um, well, here you can kind of see maybe a little bit, but you can have a lifelong friend that develops into somebody you love. But as you can see with all this type of love, there's only so much of it that is like the true love. And that's pretty much so far what my channel's been about, are the true love, the real relationships. Some of it does relate to friendships. It kind of interrelate. But again, this is where it gets confusing based on the Greek people. They have, what is it, I believe 7, 2, 4, 6, 8, but they have different types. Now this one, you have your familiar love. Now this one is a healthy self-love, because you do need to love yourself too, where it's not arrogance. It's just being thankful for your health, being thankful for your personality, your coping skills, your understanding of life, where you believe in yourself, that you can accomplish things. It's not like a depression. It's not a narcissistic look at yourself. So there's all different types of love, but agape is one of them. That's a selfless love, love for everyone, holding everyone in high regard. Does your narcissist hold you in high regard? Agape is the spiritual or unconditional type of love. And this one, if you notice right here, this one has empathy. And a lot of us go into our relationships, wanting to have this unconditional love because that's familiar to us as well. And I meant to say both words. So we're hoping for that because it's comfortable. It's, just like my brother's always going to be around. It's a comfort in my life. And we want that with our spouse or our mate. And we want to kind of mix it with the passion, and we have the passion's going on. And we believe that an agape life type relationship is what we created based on this love bombing and the way they interacted with us in the beginning. And then this right here is a deeper friendship, or I'm sorry, a deep friendship. You're comrades, you're loyal to each other, you're not stabbing each other in the back. We're not really selfish in our friendships. We'll bring over some lasagna if they're going through a hard time. We'll take time out for them, or if their car breaks down, we'll go get them. You can share without being angry. And a lot of sacrifice happens in this type of the friendship type. And then there's also the right up here. This is where it kind of mixes. We often want the agape love because in a marriage, they mention to become one, where we take care of each other. So in this one, there's passion, there's romance, sexual desire. It's a little unrational. Like, what are we doing? Like, why? All right, let's do this. Let's just run off and do whatever we're going to do. It kind of starts to become obsessive because it is so addicting because of all those hormones and chemicals that are going off in our brain. So it's kind of hard to control. So like I said, there's different types. And so if you love someone, this is not it's a PowerPoint I was able to use, but it does kind of have some good points. So if you love someone, you won't do things that they don't like, if it's going to hurt them. And you tend to focus on the things that you both like together. You accept the person as they are because you know that nobody is perfect. You understand there's going to be some sacrifices and adjustments. Narcissists often can't do that. So if we're trying to process if they loved us, these are the things that we should look for. These are the things that we should expect in a relationship. Now this is, there's a blind eye towards hurt or wrongdoings. I'm going to take that as, we don't hold a grudge. You can't always turn a blind eye to certain things because certain things, need to be handled. So it's not a complete blind eye, but it's not holding resentment over the wrongdoings. Um, and so if they're in your relationship, you'll always want to spend time with them. It's not like you want to discard them, kind of run away from them. Sometimes you do need your breaks, because we are, two separate people. But in marriages, it's supposed to be like the two become one. Um, and your life kind of revolves around each other. And narcissists don't do that. The things revolve around themselves. They don't have empathy towards our half of the relationship. And usually, if you really love someone, they become more special to you. And they become precious. That you're going to freak out if they die or they leave you. You're worried if they get sick. You're not irritated. Look at how your narcissist is when they're sick. They want to be coddled, because their brains in a more suppressed mode, which makes them more active chemically. So they get more needy when they're sick. But when we're sick, we become, either just, leave them in the room, they'll get better, or, they're not really as attentive as they should be, or understanding as they should be. And then this one right here is you become dependent on them in everything. So this, like I said, is a PowerPoint I borrowed, but in a sense, you become dependent on them because you're one. To become one, you're working through this life together. And you're dependent. Are we moving? I got a new job. So if we're in love with the person, we don't just take off and leave. We try to work it out. Hopefully they'll see things our way, but we become one. And if we leave, we're half of us is gone. So narcissists are like self-serving. So they're really easy to break that 50% off and just go do their own thing, without realizing that they just killed whatever we had. They killed something that was one, that was special, that was, wasn't really broken until they broke it somehow. We also, if we love somebody, we should be protective, just out of instinct, because if I'm going to slap you in the face right now, you're going to pull away. You are protective of yourself. And as you go through this relationship, you know, they always say, that's my better half. So in the relationship, you got to protect each other. Do they always do that? Do they protect your heart, your feelings, your emotions, your safety, as far as safety in the relationship? Sometimes they get physical too. And if you think about it, you don't go around hitting yourself, or damaging yourself, because you care about yourself. The narcissist, if they're hitting their other half, it's damaging their wholeness. And when you're in love with somebody, you have this sense of happiness. It's just an inner feeling, but the narcissist is missing that. They're hurting. And this is, I'm trying to help for us to understand what love is. So if they don't have that happiness inside, and a peace in their heart, and also in their mind when they're with us, do they truly love us? Because you should be so happy being around each other. Sometimes if things go wrong, we understand that that person might not be happy. And so we start to, feel certain ways and try to make it better. But when things go wrong for them, they don't take accountability. They don't talk it out. They don't let us understand. They don't try to ease the situation. Instead, they'll make it worse. So when we're trying to figure out how somebody loves us, I had said in that reply, like, I do kind of see it, because he did tear up at one point. And it was, he didn't reply with but I love you and this and that. It was almost like, let's say I had cheerleading tryouts and they're like, we don't want you. And I might start to tear up because of that. Like, this is what I really wanted. Like, I really wanted to be a cheerleader. And so my eyes are going to tear up. So my ex really wanted me. But did he really want me? Or like the image he saw with me? Because they do get emotional. You know, they are humans. They do get emotional. But the main thing about narcissists is we're not trying to figure out if they get emotional. We know they get emotional. They rage, they scream, they cut down, they pout. But the love part is what we're trying to figure out. So it's a lot easier not to go into that little tiny portion in the middle of love, because that's where it takes a lot more commitment and time and understanding and more of that agape love. So they'll stay on the outskirts. They'll stay in the friendship zone or the familiar zone. And it's because that middle part is too safe, too scary, or it's too unachievable. If they don't have that part in their brain, please look at the brain damage video on narcs. They don't have that part in the brain to bring them to love, which is being empathetic. So it just depends on what your relationship with the narcissist is. But a lot of you in those marriages or relationships, you kind of expect that two becomes one, where we're going to take care of ourselves. And that's partially what we're trying to do when we try to understand them, because we want to understand our other half. We want to come to symbiosis. We want to work through things. But I just thought it was kind of interesting. There are so many different types of love. But as you go through your relationship, you kind of expect, you know, as unconditional as possible, because, you know, that's a very beautiful, safe spot. And that's what they showed us in the beginning. And that's why it's so hard to understand, like, what do you mean this was all a lie? You know, looking at everything, how much of those love points did they check off? You know, love is patient, love is kind. And are they always that kind to you? Are they always that patient with you? So please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. I hope that helps. And give yourself a big hug. Self-love is one of them too. There's so many different types, but I just wanted to touch on the main ones and give you a little insight on how to tell if they truly loved you. Take care.